Welcome, Cancer. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do a reading for you, for which I've pulled the Nine of Swords as your overall general energy. And as alarming as this may seem to some of you, this is actually a very powerful message of your taking back your power, your refusing to be a victim. And in many ways, this is showing me a picture of your concern, perhaps in the past, of how others perceived you as a victim, as not being a part of, not being exactly included, being marginal, being sort of outside of the case of a usual participant or contributor or member of some kind of a group. There was something about you that inspired pity and that made others perceive that you didn't have the same needs that they did. And in that way, they were excused from having to consider your needs and feelings in an appropriate way as equivalent to your worth and value to the team. Because of this release and surrender that you are now experiencing to the perception that others have of you, not only are you free of the burden of your compassion for their mistreatment of you, but there's also a sense that you no longer occupy a place of victimhood within yourself. You've released the story of victimhood completely, particularly as you surrender to that perception of others. And this is an important point for many of you because your symbol in the animal of the crab is about the hard shell covering to the center of that being, and its arms, its legs extend from this hard center. But beneath that hard center is a very vulnerable crab. For those of you that have cleaned crab, you know that that is the heart of the creature, and it is by and large the largest organ that is visible beneath that very hard exterior. So your ability to deflect off the lack of concern, the disingenuous nature of the kind of treatment you perhaps receive from vital members of a team that you were a part of, you are surrendering to their need to see you in a certain way. And by surrendering to that, you have finally cut the cords to this experience of freedom, of once seeing how you may have been that victim if you allowed yourself to be perceived that way. You no longer care about the perception of others and are actually putting aside, releasing this view of life from a position of powerlessness. So it indeed is a very positive message, and this message is general, so it isn't going to resonate for all of you. All of the information you need is in the description box below for personal readings, and I welcome all of you, particularly those of you that are new, but especially to those of you that are my familiars and the time that you're taking with me today. In your present is the Judgment card, and this is really underscoring this awakening that you are perceiving. This awakening is not coming in a grand fell swoop, a flash of light. This is something that has been incredibly gradual, something you've been perceiving and experiencing as part of a cycle and a courageous inquiry into your own demons, your own shadows, the things that you recognize have held you back, have kept you separate. You are hearing now the call that your challenges were on purpose, and your now appreciation for where you are positioned in your life the ability to hear this call, this awakening to mission, understanding that the challenges you withstood, particularly with regard to a particular group, a community, a family, you've actually understood how you are on purpose here to serve those and others like them. Something about your empowerment is modeling a relishing in your difference, a sense that your difference provides you with a different perspective and a kind of strength that others hold in different ways. But the value of difference is something that is coming through clear and has come through for you for a while. Difference as being a blessing, as being a uniqueness, as being something that marks your territory in a way that signals to others that have differences, as most of us do, that there is power in your unique way of seeing, hearing, speaking, understanding, and experiencing the world that you are sharing graciously with others as a form of information, a way of leveling differences by sharing that information that highlights our commonality. This has been clarified by the citrine gemstone, and the key word is abundance. I'm aligned at all times with the abundant energy of the universe. This powerful energy flows through me into every aspect of my life. I think this feels like having opened the floodgates, trying to manage the feelings, being compassionate towards others who had a difficult time seeing you as being equal to them, wanting, desiring the same goals, the same experiences in the world as you, having to fight for the perception that you understood the perspective of others, yet they seemed unwilling or unable to perceive yours. That you have allowed that to be a part of experiences that you value rather than as an imposition or an oppression. This is an important shift because you're seeing your life experience in total as abundant. Food for your growth, expansion, and for what feels like in the present day, the end of suffering, the end of sadness, the end of aloneness, the end of some kind of an isolation. It doesn't mean that you're isolated from everything, but you may have felt isolated from loved ones or others that you would like to be able to share in a more equitable space. And you have released the concern for that because you've already begun to experience the abundance, the lightness, the clarity of your experiences. In the past, the Three of Wands, I believe, is about some way that you have set up your healing, some way that you have released yourself from whatever activity or enterprise you shared with this team or group. If it is a professional team or a community team, you have shared work together in which you may not have felt that you were recognized for your contribution or seen for your value. If it is a family, you may not have similarly seen yourself respected as an equal member of the team, one deserving of the same love, resources, and connection that others expected to experience. The way that you managed your resources together, for instance, may have felt as though you were excluded from the kinds of concerns or discussions that you felt you should be privy to and have a contribution to make. Whatever you are setting up is about this moving your vision away from the challenge, away from the way you've always identified yourself as having this particularly partial role or minimal, marginal role in this group, to concern for your own expansion, your own growth, your own exploration in the world, which is how you're seeing your forward motion now. You don't need to be concerned about others that are not concerned about you. Instead, your joy now comes from feeling out new areas of exploration, new activities, new expressions of who you are that are authentic to you, making new connections, taking more classes, looking at ways that you can actually travel and explore physical spaces that may be more conducive to your interests, or ways of simply learning and enjoying your world, the larger world we inhabit. This is clarified by the clear quartz. And the key word here is clarity. I have clarity in all aspects of my life. And I think this clarity is very much a result of your focusing on your own resources, the way you want to feel in the world, the way that you would like to live your life, and the steps you can take to move yourself towards a vision that comes from your heart, that comes from who you actually are, not a comparison with others who may surround you in your professional life or even in your community, family life. I'm going to clarify the past, Three of Wands with High Priestess and the Hierophant. Dang. This is the High and Priestess and the Pope, the priest. So this is actually in some ways the male and female, or feminine and masculine aspects of your ability to grow, to learn, and to become wise as a result of your experiences. Your ability to reflect that and to share what you know with others. This is beautiful empowerment, and coming from your past, this is what is contributing to your current clarity about who you are and what your powers are. The position you may have occupied in a family or at a job may be symbolic of a position that you've held at other times. Perhaps a relative occupied a certain position or occupation that you are now finding yourself drawn to, or have found yourself resonating with in your life at various times. This is about commitment to learning and growing, reflecting on your experiences. This is very sacred energy, because this is the key to life. All living things grow. I've quoted this Bob Dylan quote before: those not busy being born are busy dying. So this is really simply an axiom of a universal law, in my view. Life is about growth. It's about expansion. It's about the desire to grow, how that strengthens us, how that allows us to protect those that themselves are growing. But this is you actually as some kind of a gatekeeper at a spiritual level. There's a way that you are modeling or helping others, teaching others how to heal and grow through life's experiences. In the future, the Page of Swords is describing this place that you've come to as you have completely shifted or transformed your vision of your experience in life, your reality. There is no longer a backward casting. And it doesn't mean that you're leaving your family or your ancestors behind. You know that your ancestors are with you. You know your loved ones are always with you. in whatever way that means to you. Those that may have been intermittently available to you in your life, in childhood, growing up, a parent, even if they've passed away, their energy is more present in your life now than ever. And that leadership is a part of allowing you to let go of control. And as you let go of that control of the past, you are actually in a position of recognizing the limitations to what you know. And this is a beautiful moment of openness, of clarity, for you to begin to take note and begin on a new healing path that is all about experiencing the new version of yourself. This is you opening up to ideas, emotions, feelings, experiences that you perhaps had in the past, but you're experiencing them differently now, or that you are open to new experiences and you're noticing new opportunities in your environment. It may be the same environment, it most likely is, but you are different. You are so different that you are getting used to this moment of adjustment, catching up with your healing as you continue to stay on this healing path that is never ending. It is a continuum. And for you, this is about this release of control that gives you more focus. It gives you a greater ability to stay in the flow and find your answers where you are. This is about not having to look afield, observing your present moments, observing the actions others take that inspire you, looking to bolster your interest and opportunities in that way, as a way of learning, finding out the information you want, and being surprised because of your openness to what you see in the same place you've been in the past, but now you see things at a totally different level, in a totally different way. They hit you differently. You're not triggered in the same way because of your healing. You have learned to objectify your feelings, to witness your experiences in a way that gives you some objective grasp or some detachment from your feelings, so that your feelings are something that you can embody and learn from. They verify your path moving forward. This is clarified by the malachite stone, and the key word here is healing. I'm a healing machine manifesting miracles. And I'm really emphasizing the miracles as being the everyday awarenesses and experiences of this new version of who you are. So this is part of the miracle of healing. The resources, the talents, the interests, the skills you've always had are here now available to you in a much more conscious way. You're much more aware of where you are on the path of your own growth and your availability to others in a way that's appropriate. And that availability is in the open-heartedness with which you live your life. You routinize and habituate your activities, understanding that your healing is holistic. It relates to everything about your daily present practice. And within that, you are teaching others how you have come to find peace, joy in your abundance, in the privilege of being alive. I'm going to clarify the Page of Swords with the Five of Cups and the Hermit card. Emotions don't go away. As you continue to process the past, even as you turn away from it, It is the processing of it. It is the facing of it. It is the confronting or the delving into the triggers, the behaviors that are uncomfortable, the shame of difference, the uh, utter discomfort with your own behaviors and words, as well as the treatment you may have received from others, that is helping you to shift into the relationship with yourself. This is fortifying that relationship and pointing you in the direction of hope, of potential, of a righteous pursuit of your dreams. This is not about lofty dreams. It doesn't matter the scale of your hope, your aspiration, your ambition. It does mean that you have faith now in your ability to pursue those things that are right for you. So this is an incredible shift in the way that you experience your relationships and the way that you feel capable of recalibrating those relationships so that equity and your desires are the platform from which you can find agreement with others. And of course, the Hermit is always reminding you, sensitive Cancer, that your own body, your own soul is your sacred temple. That this ability to take the space you need, no matter what the social context is, finding that place to give yourself an opportunity to look at those experiences and how you feel about them, the feelings that sometimes get buried or overlooked or ignored because we're in a rush to accomplish something or respond to someone, a need for that someone has for us. You're really honoring and protecting your space. You're doing the learning and the exploration that you need to do for you in the way that you answer your own questions. And in that regard, you are clearer, you become clear about the way your behaviors, your ability to share what you've learned, if that's only in your body and in your actions, that is the teaching. That is the greatest teaching that we can do for others. So this is actually a specific for teachers out there. And I don't necessarily mean classroom teachers or professors. You too are, this is a message for you, but it's deeper than that. It's about the way you conduct yourself one-on-one, the way you live your life that is in alignment with the information that you share with others, the integrity you show, that is what informs and inspires others. It's not just the body of cold information or facts or opinions. It is how you are aligned with that that makes you a beacon to others. That's your purpose. That's why you're here. And those of you that are educators at heart, at whatever level that is, understand this. And this fills you with incredible pride and compassion for your students, for your colleagues, for your friends, for your family, for anyone who sees you as someone who has been successful at finding their own path, their own clarity, their own truth, their own justice that they can then disseminate in the world. I'm going to finish up this reading with Soul's Journey Oracle card. And interesting, I pulled the Pride card. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. I don't think this needs more explanation, dear Cancer. If you've enjoyed this content, check this out. And until next time, namaste.